My name is Ifunanya Dozie, and I'm the founder of a startup called Future Textiles Africa. Future Textiles Africa's mission is to divert textile waste from landfills and find ways to reuse and repurpose textile waste. I love fashion and I love the creativity around it, but I can't help but see the impacts that the fashion industry has on our environment. If you think about fashion from the beginning of the process, from developing textiles and garments, all the way through to the end of life, a lot of waste is being generated and nothing is happening to that waste. The different types of textile waste, so post-industrial waste, which is offcuts and trimmings of waste generated at the cutting table, through to post-consumer waste, which is essentially secondhand clothing and clothes that are discarded by, after being used by a consumer. And so currently, all of this waste goes to landfills. And unfortunately, these textiles do not decompose, or it takes years to decompose. And as a result, it releases greenhouse gas emissions. It goes back into, animals eat it, fish eat it, and then it comes back into our bodies. So textile waste that are not recycled or repurposed have significant environmental impact. It is a win-win for companies to adopt sustainable practices. It's not only good for the planet, but it's also a smart business move in the sense that they are able to save more if they're able to adopt better techniques of sewing to reduce the amount of waste that they generate and the pressure on landfills today. There's so much innovation taking place across the fashion value chain globally. And there's now innovative technologies that you can scan the textile and it'll tell you what exactly it is. And so that's helpful, especially when you're putting these textiles through the recycling process. And so there's different types of recycling processes for different types of textiles. So for the more natural fibers, there's a mechanical recycling process, and for the synthetic fibers, it's more of a chemical process. I recently had a conversation with a company that's creating a spandex type fabric out of protein. And so that's supposed to decompose easily when it's thrown into landfills, if it gets to landfills. Consumers should look at the brands that they're supporting and ask the hard questions, right? So ask, how are they trying to achieve sustainability? And sustainability is not just about circularity. It also has a social aspect of it, where just asking questions of how are they treating their staff, how are they treating their workers through the value chain. I think these are important questions that consumers need to ask, in addition to reducing the amount of textiles or garments that we buy. We spend more on clothes now than we did back in the early 2000s. And it's really important to try to see how we can buy better quality pieces that can last longer, so that we don't have to throw them away and they end up in landfills again. Waste to Wonder amplifies the issues that currently exist around managing textile waste. Specifically in a country like Nigeria, where we generate a lot of textile waste, given the booming fashion industry that we have here. And currently, almost all of that waste goes to landfills. I think it's just an overall, it's a really good initiative to use creativity and use design and use things that are natural to us in Nigeria to help amplify this important message of reducing waste. First of all, the main issue is lack of awareness, right? So globally, not many people know about the impacts of the fashion industry. And I think knowing and caring is also another thing, right? So why should we care about the impacts of textile waste going to landfills? If you care about your environment and care about global warming and knowing that the world is indeed heating up, we'll find ways to become more circular and just reduce our reliance on virgin materials, given that there's an abundance of waste that can be put to good use. We see on social media, different influencers that are promoting all types of brands, good and bad, and we're influenced to buy and to continue to consume. So I think awareness needs to be raised on the impacts of overconsumption and what it does to our environment and to our planet. So if we can just create more awareness, have more champions of circularity, sustainable fashion, reduce consumption, then I think we'll be off to a good start.